mechanized organism designed only for killing. It might possibly be one of the most evolving and intimidating acronyms out there, and it happens to represent one of the most evolving and interesting characters in the Marvel Universe. MODOK, or originally George Tarleton, was originally a tech working at Advanced Idea Mechanics, or AIM. During his employment, AIM scientists targeted Tarleton for experiments intending to create a superintelligent man-mind, a mental organism designed only for computing, or the first iteration of MODOK. As one could expect, it wasn't long before the superintelligence went super awry. Turning on his creators and taking control of AIM, MODOK now became MODOK, a mental organism designed only for killing. Now, regardless of the name or the acronym, and regardless of the spelling, MODOK has carried a similarly unique appearance through his entire existence. A massive head surrounded by a sort of mechanical suit with typically only the face and the top of the head visible, with four disproportionately small limbs jutting out from the front of the mechanical suit, which also happens to be a mechanical suit with the ability to float or fly. MODOK has always been MODOK, but in this case, he's MODOK. Mechanized organism designed only for killing. Seen in comics wreaking havoc across the Marvel Universe against greats like Captain America, the Hulk, Ms. Marvel, Namor, the X-Men, Vision, Squirrel Girl. What? Oh, I'm doing it again? Oh, the list thing. Okay. But MODOK has also brought his signature chaos to television through several series, including his own self-titled series, and given a voice by the talented actor Patton Oswalt. If you get an appearance in Phineas and Ferb, it's only a matter of time before you get your own series. And when you have your own series, it is again a matter of time before you end up in the Marvel Cinematic Universe. Cracking into a multiverse through the Infinity War, and now digging further into the quantum realm with Ant-Man and the Ant-Fam in Ant-Man Quantumania, audiences finally get the chance to see a villain that helps answer a question of how weird can a humanoid-like-ish character look? Will the MCU MODOK have similar powers, such as his superior intellect and the ability to focus his mental powers to kill a yak from 200 yards away with mind beams? That's telekinesis, Lang. Will he be fully characterized in his weaponized mechanical doomsday hover chair that not only helps transport MODOK around, but serves as a sort of support to hold up his incredibly massive head that holds his incredibly massive brain? Now, don't let the look deceive. MODOK is incredibly devious and dangerous. Regardless of the version we get on the big screen, we are in for a ride. And thanks to the team over at Hasbro, we have a bit of an older release, but a new add to the collection to honor such a big screen debut. Hey everyone, my name is Jonathan, aka JK of JK Collects, and in this episode we are taking a closer look at the Hasbro Marvel Legends 6-inch scale MODOK. Hey everyone, welcome back. Here he is, MODOK, whatever you want that acronym to mean at the time. We'll say a mechanized organism designed only for killing. So very cool. I'm excited to have this. Picked it up a while ago and just hadn't really gotten around to opening it, but it just, after hearing about it being in the Quantumania preview, it was just, yeah, had to do it, right? So here we go, MODOK, drawing on the outside because it is that plastic reduced box. I mean, we got plastic on the outside of the paper right here to protect it. But there we go, nice image, the typical render of the figure, right, in the good old doomsday chair with the massive head and all that. A little bit of information about it and showing that the controls are wiggly, but we're going to get into that. And then over here on the side, the artwork, too big for my frame. There he is blasting those mind beams. That's telekinesis, Kyle. And there he is again doing the same thing. He's got a lot of cool powers, but what about the power to move you? That's right, I said it. Okay, let's get this box open and get moving on this. How about that? So opening it up, old MODOK logo. Look at that face, it just cracks me up. Okay, so we're gonna slide him out, this little tray. Oh wow, he's bigger than I thought he was gonna be. All right, so there we have empty box. We're gonna set that to the side, and this is our presentation. That's why I was a little surprised. I mean, that's pretty big. Okay, let's take the pieces out one by one and get these doomsday chair pieces out of here. the top of the headpiece. I like this because we get to do a little bit of a some assembly required. Face out. Another face out. Okay, I'm liking this. The rest of the blast effect and some legs. And then we have 2 additional hands. And we have a Hasbro pamphlet. Finally found it. There it is, all the way down to the bottom. Didn't work for that one. Alright, so let's get these hands out here so we can spend, I don't know, however long prattling on about the fact that there's spare hands. Okay, so empty tray, empty cardboard. We're moving that to the side. And let's take a look at old MODOK. Okay, first, like I said, we got this extra set of hands right here. So one of them a grippy fist hand, right? Very cool to see the art, the sculpting in this, right? So it looks very robotic. I like the different pieces on there. It's just got that marble robot look to it, right? So it just has that vintage retro look. And then here's this one, which looks like it's a weapon holding / trigger hand. Same idea as far as the sculpting and the shape of the hand. So very neat. Very MODOK, right? All right, so, well, where to start? Okay, you know what? The blast effect is an add-on, so let's take a look at that one first. This looks like a flower, but it is a semi-soft red plastic, kind of, we'll say, fairly translucent, but more so opaque. You can kind of see through some of it, but then up here there's the peg hole and all that, so all the plastic underneath that kind of makes it opaque up here, but translucent down here. So there you go. It's just like a little blast effect. Got little bubbly features in it and all that, just to give it some texture with the straight lines and all that. And it will attach to this, blasting off of a surface, right? There's some, what, third law? Some equal and opposite reaction, if you will. Am I saying that one right? But there we go. And this one has just the gradient from the a similar matching red tone into an orange, just to have that nice flame effect. And then this goes in. It does have that little piece like that, but it doesn't look like it's keyed to anything. So it looks like it just kind of, yeah, it just pops in. It doesn't really matter. It will rotate however you want it to be. So despite of that look, it is not keyed. And then that just sets just like that. Okay, so moving on. Let's see what we got. Here is the spare face. Very, this is actually, yeah, I can see the other face, and we'll look at it here in just a minute, but I'm going to say that this is probably the face I'm going to go with. It's just fantastic. And I mean, just, oh, looks like we got a little bit of a scuff right there on it, but you know what, I'll see if maybe that can come off. That's unfortunate. I can't fault them for that. That's just something that happens, I suppose. But the paint on this, the sculpting is very well done, right? So just looking at the way that this face is sculpted, it definitely has that grimace going on to it with that mouth. And it just looks good, right? It probably helps that it's a larger canvas, but you can see where they've got the darker brownish painted in there to kind of show some depth and some shading. The plain white eyes are just perfectly done. But then you can also kind of see, right, white pupils in there. Do you see that? White. So you got the white on the outside. There we go. And then you got like white pupils. You see, so they took the time to actually do that. It could have just been plain white. And the teeth, very well painted, the tongue, all that stuff. It certainly looks like I'm looking into a mouth, at least a cartoon or a comic book style. And then even the little emblem up here on the top, very well done, right? So like the bottom of his mind beam headband. On the sides, a typical thing. We don't really see the paint wrap around too much, at least on these, I don't want to say lower end, but not like higher end, automatically super expensive figures. It's a little bit more difficult, especially when you're dealing with that kind of texture. But up here on the top, it does wrap around a little bit. But all in all, pretty solid. Very pleased with that. And now let's, gosh, what do we do? Let's put them together. We'll assemble. So here is the back of the look at old Doomsday chair, made of that kind of shiny, metallic-y intention plastic. It's got just like the waves in it. So it's like a gold-like color, and then a little bit of an orange, more orange in the highlights here to pull out these features and pull out these recessed bits. So I appreciate that they took the effort on that and not just have it just this gold color and say, hey, no, that looks great. What's wrong with it? Anyway, so moving on. The good old chair, and make sure I put it together properly. So here is the bottom. That would be the little jet engine. So it's got this little tab, and this is that little bit more orangish color, right? See, so it matches what's going on in that. So it's cool. I mean, it's got that extra bit to it. I love that extra detail, even if it's just in cast plastic. But that goes in that hole right there. And I'm gonna guess they go together much like that with the little tabs that stick in. But have I done wrong by not putting the hair there first? Maybe. maybe not. This is how I learn. Okay, so pull it back apart. That sounded worse than it was. That was a scary noise in dealing with pulling plastic apart. So there we go. Let's put the hair in there. And you know, some people might be saying, "Hey, this is what instructions are for," and I agree, but it didn't have any. I mean, unless they were on the back. But yeah, so there we go. Let's. You know what? That's what I'm doing. I'm getting the headband caught in the back, so that just kind of pops down. And then now I can do that. There we go. And now we have almost a complete MODOK. I love the movement and the articulation. So let's put these feet on. Put them on the right way. Always nervous how hard you have to push these things to get them to go, right? So, yep, it's the correct foot. The right foot, if you will. Okay, yeah, that's kind of on there. I'm not going to test it. If it comes off, I'm definitely going to be applying some heat. I'm doing it that way, but here in the moment, I want to be able to just have him put together. So there we go. That's the guy. And all put together, when I first took it out, I got to say, I was a little concerned by this, but then looking more closely, I love the detail on it of a little bit of orange and that waves that's in it, the waves that are in it. English is tough. And then you've got paint details up here. So it works, right? It is a golden doomsday chair that he's flying around in. We've got articulation in the arms. We've got a piece of paper that I missed to help protect the face from a lot of paint rub. So very cool, right? So articulation of the face, very similar, right? That same level of quality with the paint and everything like that. We just have a closed mouth and a little bit more squinted eyes. But you can also see it does still have the pupils, right? So the white specified pupils on there. We've got the headband with the red light that has pink in the center just to kind of show that it's like warming up, getting ready to blast somebody. This thing is just cool. The hair sculpting, that hair is fantastic, right? It is the bowl cut of all bowl cuts, and then with the center it being parted and combed forward like that, it is just fantastic. I'm absolutely loving it. And then here in the front, we've got the little wave thing. I'm not exactly sure what it's supposed to do. If you know, please let me know in the comments. That'd be fantastic. It seems like it would move and wiggle as he spoke, and its noise was made. Little buttons painted down here. Some other ones that were not, right? So they were just kind of left blank. It would almost be interesting if everything had something going on, right? A little bit of paint work, but I can't complain. I appreciate that the control handle does move, and I appreciate that it is painted, right? So we've got the black handle and then even that red trigger button and a button up here on the top. That one not painted perfectly. It's centered on that piece, but it doesn't seem like it's quite managing what we're, you know what, maybe it is. It looks like, well, it looks like it's supposed to be a switch, and it did not quite get the full paint job on the switch, so it missed a little bit. And then, you know, good articulation for what we've got with the arms and legs, right? So it looks like we've got a little bit of elbow. Obviously, it goes up and down. And you know what, side to side, so pretty good. We got good good shoulder movement right there. We have a single joint elbow. It does go forward and backwards. And then, of course, with the hands, as we saw, they have the peg, and they've got that typical pronate, supinate movement that we've got. And these are both open palm hands, and we have the same articulation for both of them. And then the legs, we saw, they go on these little balls. So they do have that ability to rotate and shift a little bit. And then we have the single, no. We got a good double knee going on here, I think. Come on. Yep, there we go. So great articulation in the little knees right there. That way, I guess when he's flying, you can have him tucked in. And then the foot has a pretty good forward and backwards on it. And yep, he can still break his little MODOK ankle, his MODOKle. All right, that's it. That is good old MODOK right there. Let's see how hard it is to pop this flame effect in there without destroying everything. Easier than the legs were, I will say that. And that's our guy. There he is. So good old MODOK. And then, of course, we had the grip hand, which is designed to hold that little handle right there to show that he's flying around. So, yeah, that's it. And then we could probably just pull the face out, plug another face in. And obviously, since he has this blast effect that he's sitting on, he immediately sits very well on his own with very little coaxing. MODOK. Well, that about brings us to the end of this mind-bending episode. Thank you for taking the time to join us. If we ever do a review of something you are trying to find for yourself, please follow and DM us on Instagram at JKCollectsToys so we can help with the search if we do not already have a way to get one. Also, if you enjoyed this episode, let us know, and let YouTube know by subscribing and clicking that like button. The more that happens, the more YouTube recommends us, so we can hopefully reach even more collectors and help them find the things that they need. If you'd like to see some more videos, we have some links on your screen right now for you to check out. And remember, as always, collecting or not, we are all in this world together. Let's look out for each other. Thanks.